Okay, let me give you a little bit of market data, and just to, we'll wrap things up pretty quick here. I know it's getting late, but Texas Roundup. The average price house in Texas is $424,000, down 0.6% from 1 year ago. The market is flat. Median price in Texas, $331K, down 2.7%, pretty flat. But if you wanted to look at one number, like what do you look at that's going to give you the barometer? Like what's like the best number to look at? It would be this number here in the middle, months of inventory. That tells you the health of the market. So months of inventory, how do you calculate months of inventory? If you took all the houses on the entire MLS and you stopped adding any more, right? And you just sold them, how long before they're all sold? In other words, if you stopped reloading the shelves, right, how long before the shelves are empty? And the answer is 4.6 months, which is also the average amount of time to sell one house. Now, average. Some houses are much faster, some houses are much slower, but the average is 4.6. So let me put that into perspective for you. They say if there's less than 6 months of inventory, you're in a seller's market. If there's more than 6 months of inventory, you're in a buyer's market. What market are we in right now? We're in a seller's market. It is the definition of a seller's market. Now, it doesn't feel that seller's market, but because a few years ago, there was like 3 months of inventory at a hot seller's market. Now it's a lukewarm seller's market, but we never got into a buyer's market. In fact, a year ago, there was 4.8 months of inventory. The market is even better than it was a year ago, right? Now, but for the most part, it's flat. Now, why is that? Well, what affects real estate? Supply and demand. Two things, that's it. Purest market in the world, supply and demand. What's the biggest thing that happened over the last 5 years? Interest rates. They went up. When interest rates go up, what happens to home prices? Do they go up or do they go down? Let's do a vote. I want your opinion. Who thinks when interest rates go up, home prices go up? Who thinks when interest rates go up, home prices go down? Okay, we're running out of options if you didn't. So you're both right. You're all right. They do this. Supply and demand. For sure, when interest rates go up, mortgage payments are higher, houses are less affordable, fewer people can afford them, right? When there's less demand, that pushes prices down. But there's an offset. What's the offset? Normally, 2/3 of houses for sale are resale, and 1/3 are new construction. At the moment, it's inverted. How come people are not selling their houses? They got a 3% interest rate and they don't want to give it up. People should be selling their houses. People should be saying, honey, we made money in the stock market, life's pretty good, let's buy a bigger, nicer house, but they're not. They're saying, honey, we have a 3% mortgage, we're not going to give it up, right? So there's all that supply being held off the market. And when you have less supply, what does that do to home prices? Pushes them up. In fact, nationally, you may or may not know this, we're in the middle of a housing shortage. Who's heard of this? We have 6 million fewer houses than we have people that need houses to live in. And when you don't have enough houses, what does that do to home prices? Pushes them up. And then we have one more huge issue in Texas, migration. Last year, California lost 5,000 people. Last year, Texas gained 500,000 people. California lost 500,000, Texas gained 500,000. Where do you think they went? Pretty obvious. There's another 12 million, we don't know where they went, but a lot of them are here too. And the point is they all need a place to live, right? And we don't have enough houses, and we're not building enough houses, and we have a housing shortage, and all of that is pushing prices up. So yeah, interest rates went up, the housing market should have gone down, it didn't. And the reason it didn't is because we have a constrained supply and too much demand. If you look at the history, 2021, prices went up 18% in 1 year. 2022, 10.7% in 1 year. 2023, flat. 2024, up just a little at the end of the year, because interest rates started to go down a little at the end of the year. And then 2025, up 0.5%. The market is flat. And it's continuing to be flat. What will change it? Probably we're going to get a little juice to the interest rate this year. Trump has said, I'm bringing in my guy, he's going to lower interest rates. Will that help? It'll help a little bit, but not a lot. Give you a little bit more data. Dallas, average price is $485, second most expensive city in Texas after Austin. Median price, $385, down 1%. Basically, the market's flat. But look at here. Dallas is the hottest real estate market in Texas. 3.5 months of inventory. It is the hottest market in Texas by far. And I'll tell you something about Dallas. I don't know why this is the case, but it's been the case for over 20 years. Dallas is the bellwether of Texas. If you ever want to know kind of what's going on, look at Dallas. Dallas is the first mover. First mover going up, first mover going down. I don't know why, but it's always been the bellwether of Texas. Two things are bellwether. There's Dallas and condominiums. We call condominiums the canary in the coal mine. It's the first thing to go down, last thing to come back. So if you really want the leading indicator, I guess you'd look at Dallas condominiums. But Dallas is hot. 3.5 months of inventory. That's actually a hot seller's market. Crazy. So market drivers, let me just skip to the forecast. The forecast. If you were looking for some big market crash, that was about all there was to it, and there wasn't much. Interest rates will go down a little bit by all expert analysis. That's not going to do a lot. It's going to help a little. Sales were up a little bit last year. They're going to be up a little bit more this year. Prices are going to be up maybe 1 to 2% by the end of the year, and that's it. And by the way, we do the forecast every year. The forecast is always pretty darn accurate, and it's not because we're super smart. It's because it's just not that hard. Predicting the economy is hard. Predicting the stock market is impossible. Predicting real estate, not hard. And the reason it's not that hard is supply and demand. We know how many houses we have. We know how many we're building. We know how many people are having babies. We know how many people are dying. We know about how many people are moving here. We know how many houses we're going to need. We know how many houses we're going to have. We know everything. Right? The only thing we don't know with absolute certainty is exactly what interest rates are going to be, and we even have some ideas there, but there's just not that much that you don't know about where the real estate market's going. And with that, did you all learn a lot tonight, guys? Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you. We're going to get to know each other. See you guys in a couple of weeks at the workshop, so look forward to it. So thank you, everybody.